You just gotta let it go.
And I was just telling John, I don't know how, unless my kids are like possessed, I don't know how anybody has more than two.
Oh, so you're not ready?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I will never. No, it's not. I can guarantee you that science says 100% it won't happen.
Okay.
So Roman is like throwing a bitch fit, crawling on the table, just being a little shit. Meanwhile, like I'm trying to enjoy my burger and I can't because
that's part of the problem is there's no discipline because you over there trying to enjoy a burger, Kate's doing all the work.
Yeah, well, yeah. She's the mom.
Oh,
I don't even know how you have enough energy to get through the day.
You don't.
Because waking up in the morning, you're running your ass off, trying to get breakfast for them, trying to get them dressed, trying to eat yourself, trying to get yourself dressed, and then get out the door on time, make it to daycare, drop them off, drop the dog off, try to get to work on time, work all day, go pick them up, come back home, get them ready for supper, cook them food, take the bath, get them ready for bed, put them to bed, go to the gym, and then come home.
I do it all again.
Welcome back to another episode of Ill Ego Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Ego CEO, and I'm here with just Cody Mauk, Big Meat, no Dion today. Two Cups is away at some kind of emergency last-minute work thing.
Work emergency.
So we replaced him with a real brother. David Woods, welcome back to the show, man.
Good to be back.
Full-blooded.
Good to be back.
We got a full breed today.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been, what, 2 years since you were...
Has it been that long?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
How long have we been here? We've been here for a couple of years now, right?
About 2 years now, yeah. It's probably been almost 3 years since he was in last.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I think right when I got home from D.C.
I think so.
Yeah.
It was in another spot, not here. This is my first time seeing this.
Yeah.
So,
wow, been a while.
Yeah.
A lot has changed since then.
A lot has changed. New position, AD now, activities
I have
director.
2 kids.
You got 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. Hair is gray.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I actually noticed I had started to get gray hair, my sideburns here.
Yep.
I looked in the mirror. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding
There's
me.
Yeah. You just gotta let it go.
And I was just telling John, I don't know how, unless my kids are like possessed, I don't know how anybody has more than 2.
Oh, so you're not ready?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I will
gonna
never.
happen.
No, it's not. I can guarantee you that science says 100% it won't happen.
Okay.
So we went out to eat tonight. Rhea pukes on Kate twice.
Yeah.
Should have went to a better restaurant.
Right?
Roman is like throwing a bitch fit, crawling on the table, just being a little shit. Meanwhile, like I'm trying to enjoy my burger and I can't because
that's part of the problem is there's no discipline because you over there trying to enjoy a burger, Kate's doing all the work.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's the mom.
Oh, hell.
You're gonna learn, bro. When it comes to discipline, that's all your job, homie.
Rookie.
Yeah.
I will say I'm the only one in the house that actually disciplines. She is the soft one, so when they know that they're doing wrong, they run to her all the time.
Yeah, mama's boy.
It's always like, I want mommy.
Yep.
John, you know what's crazy?
Dads get to be the bad guys, bro.
All the time.
That was him.
Yeah.
Ask Rhonda.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was you.
Oh, he still does that when she's around.
Right?
It's just at the bar now.
Right.
I told him, I said God is making a funny joke by creating 2 little people that are identical to me to just get back at me. You know, like their attitudes are basically what I would be like as that age. So look, but I don't know how anybody has the patience to do that again. Like I get all like the, oh man, it's so fun and stuff, but it is so freaking hard. It is so hard.
In a moment. It's hard in a moment, but like, okay, so.
But I don't even know how you have enough energy to get through the day.
You don't.
Because waking up in the morning, you're running your ass off, trying to get breakfast for them, trying to get them dressed, trying to eat yourself, trying to get yourself dressed, and then get out the door on time, make it to daycare, drop them off, drop the dog off, try to get to work on time, work all day, go pick them up, come back home, get them ready for supper, cook them food, take the bath, get them ready for bed, put them to bed, go to the gym, and then come home.
I do it all again.
Yeah.
I do it all
Parenting
again.
is the most submissive thing in the world, bro. Like there comes a point where you just have to accept it's no longer about you and what you want. It's all about them kids, bro, and you make every sacrifice necessary to make sure that you raise them correctly.
That's where I draw the line, guys, because he said
that's why you're losing the battle, bro.
He said that I was not going to be able to go to the gym every single day like I wanted to, right?
Yeah.
That's
right?
Yeah. I stand on that. I stand on that now. John just stood on that right now. Like you gotta.
Does Kate get to go to the gym every single day?
Saying.
We kind of take turns, but I still go to the gym, but it's at night. It's
but it's harder
during a
to
shitty
get there.
time because the older you get, the harder it is to go to the gym at night. Like we used to go to the gym at fucking 9:45.
2.5 hours later.
Yeah, we'd get done at midnight, 1 a.m. And it was no problem. Like we would just get our workout in, right?
But wait, hold on. Let me pause there because what he didn't realize was we worked out at 9. Well, my kids were asleep.
Yeah.
So that was.
So you were going through it while he was just having a heyday, and he was thinking, "This is easy." Look at us.
He was younger. You were in your 20s.
Oh, yeah, but
you were in your 20s.
Okay, no, I was in my 30s too. I was in my 30s too when we started doing that. Yeah, because how far apart are we? I'm 45.
That was back in 2008. 2008.
What do you just turned 36, right, Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you're a pup still. You're good, bro.
I was.
You should be running
Dude,
circles.
you were in your 31. 20s. You were in your 20s.
No, we did that until I was 31, Cody.
Okay, so 31.
Okay.
I'm 36.
Yeah, so now
you're
farther down the line.
Every single year that you get older is that much harder.
Wait, this guy, are you listening to this guy tell me, the one who's been through it, what's going on here? Listen, here's the thing.
You weren't doing the same shit that I'm doing now.
Which is what?
At this age.
Yeah, I was. Sure, I was.
Not at this age.
Sure, I was. No. And what? You're 36, so I was 3 kids in. What are you talking about?
Yeah, in your 20s.
In my 20s, I was 2 kids in.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. I'm telling you the same thing. Yeah, in my 20s, I was 2 kids in.
You raised your children.
The
hardest part.
Oh shit! You're not even at the hardest part. Stop now.
Fuck that.
Stop now. You're not even at the hardest part. Stop now. What I said was, I would go back. I would give ask Heather because we've talked about this. I would give anything to go back to the time that you're at right now. Like I was like their best friend. I was big bro. I was dad. I was everything. I was everywhere. But my mindset changed, like what John said. Like I had to come to the conclusion that like my time was over. Like that shit was over. Like I could go work out or whatever, but to be that David Woods that I was when I was 28, that shit was gone. Yeah. That shit, nope. And then it hits you again when you're in like 2 or 3 years. It's gonna hit you again because then they're going to start being in stuff.
Yeah, school, after school programs, midday fucking concerts and events you got to find a way to go to in the middle of work. Like, and the school doesn't give a damn that parents have to work for a living, bro. They'll have events in the middle of the day that kids will cry if you don't show up to, bro.
We ain't trying to be there at 7. Like, as a school, we're not trying to be there. Like, we will, but we're not trying to be there at 7 just because you got issues. Nah, heck nah. We'll do that at like 2.
Yep.
And then you gotta be there.
Yep.
And kids are playing the doggone recorder and think they think they big
Putting
shit.
on a concert for
Yeah,
you.
put on a concert with
Hey,
a damn recorder that's coming home
all
with
for
you.
about 15 minutes worth of your time.
Yep.
In the
That's
middle
it.
of the damn day, you have to leave work to go there for about 15 minutes.
And then when they're older and they get into sports, you start like don't start thinking about that, because the reality is this. There was a time where I traveled to Iowa for scout to run in a track meet, and it was the 100 meters. How long was the 100 meters? 15 seconds? I drove 6 hours for this girl to run 15 seconds 3 times? Yeah. I hope the heck that she get a medal. At least I can get something out of this. You know what I mean? Like, but that's how it is, you know.
And now if you want your kid to actually get gameplay in whatever sport they're in, you got to do all the extra training outside of, you know, the school, you know, training that they do when they're in camp and whatnot. You got to sign them up for, you know, other camps. You got to get them better trained and educated for the sport. So now it's taking more of your time. Otherwise, you're literally driving hours away to all these events to watch your kids sit on the bench.
And that's when it comes back.
And that's even worse, homie.
That's when I can tell you it comes back. I go with Scout and Claire. I go to the gym and we get a workout in and we talk about life and we do whatever. So all that stuff I was doing with you at 20, I do with Scout and Claire right now with my own kids. Like, I'm spitting knowledge to them and can't get that time back, dude. Like, I would give anything to go back to those little kids climbing over the table. It's like, get down, get down, get down. Because before you know it, you're handing your diploma to the kid. Like, I hand my diploma to Scout and she's going off to SU. And I got gray hair, and I got 3 more to go. I mean, I get your plight, and people told me, they said, you know, enjoy it now because it's going to go through fast. And I'm like, yeah, bullshit, like, whatever.
And you wake up one day and you're like, God damn, I'm a grandpa now.
I mean, that's crazy,
So, you know what I mean?
right?
So it's like, and that just, it just sets in all of a sudden. You're like, wait a minute. I'm 45 years old and I'm a grandpa now.
Word.
That's wild, bro. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
But it's also that get back, you know what I mean? Like, my daughter now, I could spoil the hell out of that baby and give it right back to my daughter and be like, here, she's acting up, take her.
She stinks. She needs to be changed. Peace out.
Yep.
Go to mom.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah, strap in, bro. You ain't seen none yet.
well, I think the hard part is the fact that both Kate and I are so invested in working out and making sure that we're both eating right. We both obviously meal prep. We work out all the time. I mean, that's the hard part. It's just making sure that we both get what we want to make us happy. And I think that especially me, I need the gym. Like, I fucking need the gym. And I need to play hockey on Tuesday nights. Like, I need that because I am a very, very high-strung person. But I needed that release. And then she's very, like, on edge too, you know? So people like that, they need the gym. They need a release like that. So that's where it gets tough. I think if we had another kid, one of us would definitely have to sacrifice going to the gym because we wouldn't be able to do it.
The other thing though is I found out that I was in better shape when I was 29 because we were doing bodybuilding shows and stuff like that. But you know, I told Heather, I said, okay, I'm gonna be done whatever for a while, and I had to find other ways of working out. Like I couldn't just lift every day, like we did.
I'm convinced parenting invented the push-pull leg day.
Right? Right?
Like that totally came out of necessity. You know what I mean?
Just
Someone
to get
said,
it
how
done
can
in
I
the
get it
week.
done 3 days a week so that if I don't get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I got 4 more days in the week to knock it out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized my cardio went up when I had kids substantially. I was in the backyard playing soccer. I mean, I was counting steps. I was and I still do that now. Like I'm more active cardio wise than I am lifting wise because I just have to My
You're
sons play
constantly running
soccer.
around.
Yeah.
Yep.
My sons play soccer, and who's going to play with them? Okay, whatever. It's me. My kid, like Reese the other day, he wanted to play basketball. 90 degrees outside. There's no way I'm going to play basketball for 15 minutes and then go get an hour lift.
How old were you when your youngest was born? Reese, how old were you when Reese was born?
See, Reese is 8, and I'm 45.
Okay, so you were in your 30s then. Okay.
It's 37.
So you were still, I mean, you were 37.
36, 37.
Oh my God. Okay. Would you rather have a kid when you're young or when you're older? What was easier? What was harder?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that and not answer it. It was better for me. Our timing was spot on. So we had Scout when I was like 27, 28, and then we went 3 years apart, each one. And that one paid dividends for us because Scout graduated. We just got back from Mexico, right?
Yep.
Dope trip. And we had never been. And while we're there, we're like, damn, we should just do something for us every time a kid graduates. All right, every 3 years, right? Okay, Scout was a senior in high school, and then Claire was a freshman. I didn't even think about this, but I'm sitting there like, Claire, you got to make varsity or else we have to divide and conquer. Like if you're on the junior high team, mom got to go see you and I got to go see Scout. Well, okay, so then she made varsity. And now we're all there kind of as a family. But that spacing for us was very important. So it doesn't go by age. It just goes by what the spacing is. And I've talked to some friends, and they said 2 years was very good for them. I have a in-law. Damn, she damn near went like every 10 months. And she has like 4 kids, and it's hell for her now. I see it. It's hell for her right now. But
ours is 18 months apart.
Yeah, and it's hell right now. But later on, it's gonna be her husband, and like all these grown ass kids. I mean,
that's the one that is the one thing that if I were to have like a bunch of kids, that would be one thing is like looking in the future. Like I was always a big holiday guy, like getting together with the family.
Yeah.
I always wanted that to have like our own big holiday gathering, and then having the grandkids come over and just having this huge family. But man, dude, nowadays it's just so hard with the expenses and stuff.
It's everything. Another thing for me is if we would have lived in Fargo, because we did live in Fargo. Yeah. So if we would have lived in Fargo, we couldn't do all the things that we have done because you would have had to go to a soccer field, and that's 30 minutes away from the basketball court, and then trying to get trainings and stuff in, and who knows where my gym would be. So it's kind of like, I mean, if I went to your gym, in the past, it was way up north. You know what I mean? So I'd be going up. It'd be just this big triangle that I'd be doing every day. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm good right now where I'm at in Wahpeton. But I can see how it would be much, much harder. I've talked to Heather about that too, how hard it would be if we lived in Fargo.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like having 4 kids up here and all of them being in sports at the same time. Yep. Like, what the how does that work?
But people do it.
I know. Like Brady's going to be in for a rude awakening. I think when all 6 of them kids is going to be in sports at the same time.
Yeah. That's why he got paid real quick, bro. he hired live-in nannies, and he's got a little guest house and everything. He can do it all the way anyone who does this shit could dream of doing it. You know what I mean? It's like just dish out the money and have people help you. You know what I mean? Like,
and people I know do that. A lot of people in Fargo, because a lot of them know, there's close ties, people in Wahpeton and other places, and they're like, we see it. It's like, hey, I'm looking for a nanny. I'm looking for a nanny for the summer. And so parents go to work and nanny's driving everywhere. It's worth the money.
They hire like teenage kids, that can be a nanny to the kids, and they're driving them to and from their sporting events and their practices and all that stuff like that. So I mean, there's ways. One thing I will tell you though is keep it as fair as you possibly can so that you and Kate stay together, because if you make it all about, well, my needs are more important, you're going to find out real quick how hard single parenting is, and that you think it's bad now, homie. Wait till you got to do it all by yourself.
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
no,
who's gonna end up like really sacrificing? It's you.
It's got to be.
It's you.
It's what we were designed for.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to, and what that sacrifice looks like, I don't know.
The sacrifice is allowing her to go to the gym after work so that she can do it right after she gets done with work, and then me go in later.
Oh, that's not sacrifice. That's a compromise. That's
I'm sacrificing prime time gym time to get peak workout in.
Yep.
Now I go to the gym and I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to be here.
Yep.
This workout sucks.
Yep. That's dad life, dude.
And then not only that, but I hit pre-workout before I go, and then when I come back, I'm so amped up from the gym that I don't go to bed until midnight. Even when I go to bed, my heart is fluttering.
We call that GTA time in my house. Like, I just go right downstairs and start playing GTA like for a couple hours. I passed out yesterday. Like, I was amped up. I had to go for a walk and stuff. Came back. It's like, dang, okay, I kind of am tired. Sat down on the couch. Woke up next day. Like,
oh, wow.
Like, wait until that hits you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's already there. Like, I would sit on the couch and I'd just lean back. I'm just gonna take a $5, and then 20 minutes later, I'm like, what the hell happened? Yeah. But yeah, it's like, but being around those little ones it's freaking exhausting. Like, they zap your energy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because like you're constantly on edge, like you're constantly like watching them and making sure that they don't unalive themselves.
That's part of it.
But it just feels like no matter what, your energy is just being zapped out of your body.
That was so the weirdest thing about Mexico. Okay, we didn't take kids, so once again, 3 years apart. So now we look at Scout and we're like, you're taking your brothers and sisters, you're taking care of them. We don't have to pay anybody because like,
the big ones watch the little
big
ones.
Watch the little ones. Yep. And she thought it was unfair until I said, well, it'll be something else when you broke at SU and I don't pay that bill. She's like, yeah, you right. I'm gonna take care of these kids. Okay. So we go off to Mexico. Well, day one, everyone has their hands behind their head and they're sitting in the bungalows and things like that. And I can't do it. Like, I can't
You think you want the getaway, and then you get it. Yep.
I couldn't lay back.
Yep.
So I lay back and I started thinking about all the shit I gotta do. And I'm like, and Heather's looking at me like, yo, you gotta let it go. Like, so luckily the email stopped working on my phone. Just stopped. Some of the apps I went through, it said not in your country, not in your region, no shit. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I'm really out. Like, no one can contact me really, you know. And day 2 is when I started to just relax and be able to do things, whatever. But that first day I was shocked because usually where we'd be a family going on a trip, and it zaps your energy because you're worried about, if you go to Florida, you're worried about your youngest one drowning.
Yeah.
So that's a zap of energy. You're worried about, okay, your oldest one's like, I want to go out and explore. And you're worried about her getting snatched up. And I mean, it's just one of those things. So that actually kind of never goes away until you guys take some time for yourself and pay that nanny, pay that sitter. And even then it's going to be difficult. Like, I'm sure you've seen it. You go somewhere and Kate she can't detach. She's like, well, wonder if whatever, did I leave enough diapers at home? Did I leave enough formula? All this other stuff. And you're like, slow the hell down.
Yeah.
But that's what it is for now. Just for now.
Yeah. And then on top of all that, you got to find a way to make time for you and Kate to still do things together, because now you're in the habit of doing everything separately, right? Like when you go out, she typically doesn't come out anymore. She goes home, and she goes out on her little girl things together, you know, with her friends and stuff. You guys don't get enough time together. It's going to create major separation, bro.
Yeah.
Yep. So like, you haven't even faced half of it yet, bro. Like, trust me. You're just getting started. You're on the easy shit. You're going to look back one day and be like, man, I wish it was just gym that I was missing out on.
Just like me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets there.
Yeah, I know. How old do you think is the appropriate age to introduce your kids to sports?
ASAP. Even if so, for me, it was always having like a ball around. So here's the crazy thing. So Scout, when she was born, she always had a ball. Always had a ball. And sometimes it was oversized and sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it was a football. Sometimes, she just always had a ball.
Yeah.
And we always did tumbling. So, gymnastics and stuff was important. I always had her enrolled in that kind of stuff. And then as she got a little bit older, we did swimming. And that's what I did with all my kids. The other side of it is Heather always had a book in her hand. So even if she couldn't read, there was always a book in her hand. So all we had were books and balls everywhere around the house. And that's all we did. And then when I got the house I'm in now, we had that big old backyard. So then some of those other toys could start coming out, bikes and everything, and they just go in the backyard. So I would say as soon as you can get them running, crawling, like Trey loves soccer. Trey's a soccer-holic right now, right? Really good at it. When he was, 10 months, I would roll the soccer ball to him, and then he would just like push it back. Like I have it on video. You know what I mean? Like him with the soccer ball. Then when he first started to walk, I put the soccer ball at his foot, and he started just kicking it. Not purposeful or anything. He didn't even know what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
But it was just introducing those things is important because it just becomes part of them.
Do you think that, like speaking from, Scout's perspective, do you think that kids nowadays have got to put in that kind of work in order to make it to Division I level?
Yes. I think more than anything, and I've been thinking about this because a long time ago you asked me like, how do I get Roman on that path?
Yeah.
And I've actually been thinking and doing a lot of stuff. The number one thing is don't put him on that path. Like, don't do it. You're not doing it for Division I, even though that might be what you want. You're not doing it for Division I. You're doing it for like enjoyment. You're doing it for something that's gonna build a relationship between you and your kid. But in that, when they get older, then you sit. So I sat my kids down. I sat Scout down. I sat Claire down. And I will sit Trey down before he goes into high school. And I said, look, I will make you the best. This is the exact conversation I had. I will make you the top athlete in this state. I will make people fear you. I will make sure that all wards, people will look towards you. But you're going to have to sacrifice. You're not going to like me. We're going to get into arguments. I'm going to force you to do things. Some things you're just going to have to go with blind trust. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose. Oh. And I laid it flat out. And actually, it's funny because today I blog. So today I just wrote a blog of everything that I tell my kids before. And it was exactly everything that I'm telling you right now. It's not the path to get them to be the best. That's just part of it. It's the path to get them to be like accountable human beings. So if they don't go to Division I, or if they choose not to do a sport, then at least they have that in their head that this is how, in the workplace, this is how I'm going to have to get ahead. This is how I become CEO. This is how I get the money that I want to get. This is how I get that high-level degree, because it all has to do with everything that you learn throughout your sporting years. And I think that's part of the problem, just to go off on another tangent. I think that's part of the problem is a lot of parents don't want the accountability part.
Yep.
It's real difficult to look at your child. I've looked at my child and said, you sucked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you think that you're doing all, and they might have been player of the game. And it's like, no. You didn't do the best that you could do. I don't care that you were MVP.
Yeah. Lucky for you, you're surrounded by a bunch of other losers, but you personally.
I know what you can do.
Yeah.
And we're not settling for less ever. We're never doing that. And I think, I get a lot of flack, but when you look at people like King Richard, like Venus and Serena's dad, when you look at LeVar Ball, when you look at, and I put that on social media, I'm starting to understand more and more what they were trying to do with their kids. Like, you put your kids out there and you give them the best chance to be successful in whatever that they want, you're going to face some issues. And some people aren't going to like what you're doing or whatever, but that's between you and your kid. And the accountability that I hold on my kids, that's between me and my kid.
How do you approach getting them to do certain sports without pressuring them too much, and then them, saying, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
For example, my friend Duffy, he's a huge football fan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he has a son. His son played football for a while, and he was really good at it.
Yep.
But he just one day he's like, I don't want to play football no more.
Yep.
And he's into soccer now, but it's just like, I know how painful that must have been, because I know that he really, really loves football.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he really wanted his kid. Not saying that his kid won't come back to it, but I'm just wondering, is there a certain amount of pressure that you apply, or you apply no pressure, or how do you approach that? But just maybe trying to guide them to,
don't guide
sports.
There's no pressure.
I don't want to play freaking tennis.
There's no pressure, because
tennis is a badass sport.
Tennis will
and the
pay.
money is there, bro. Yep.
Yeah.
Tennis will pay. And here's the
So
thing
boring.
about tennis and golf. Tennis and golf could be automatic scholarships, because there's colleges that
It's like
can't fill
track
their
too.
roster.
Track, man, they're throwing
Track,
scholarships at
they
track
can't fill their
athletes right now.
roster. So here's my example. When we were younger, Scout got her name Scooter because she was just fast, right? So it's like, oh, little Scooter. And I would take her to track meets all over, and this is all the way up until 8 years old. I'd take her to track meets all over. She was just killing kids. It wasn't even fair, just dusting. We went to one track meet. I'm not even going to mention where it was. They stopped having a track meet because we were there every year just winning them, right?
Oh, really?
It's like she was just killing them. And then after 8, so I thought she was going to be Division I. I thought she was going to be the next FloJo. I thought she was going to be an Olympian, right? Then she picked up a basketball. And it was like, oh, man. So she used that speed. She would just dribble faster than everyone else. She would steal the ball and gone. You weren't going to catch her, right? And then it was like, holy buckets. And then we played soccer, and she was good at that. And I thought, yeah, Women's World Cup, I'm going to take her to games, and I'm going to do all this other stuff. And then she went to gymnastics, and she was good at that. So I'm like, okay, she can jump higher. She can flip. She can do all these things. Like my neighbor, her girl was doing it. They were good, whatever. And then it was basketball again. Now we're in junior high, and everyone's like, yo, she might be the next greatest player in North Dakota. I don't know. So we started to go through that. And then she hates when I say this. And then we found tacos and powerlifting. And she's like, look at this metal ball. I think I can throw this thing. She threw it, and I went, holy shit. Throw another one. Throw this again. Do it again. She threw it again. I was like, oh shit. You're a 7th grader. Like, you're a 7th grader, and you're throwing farther than some seniors. Now she's going to college, SU, on a scholarship to throw. So you don't know. And that's the thing I would tell Duffy is, the football might have been a catalyst to make him the greatest soccer player in the state. Yeah. And so you just have to kind of swallow your pride. You got to swallow that ego, which is very hard.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, I am a soccer guy and a basketball guy.
Well, I know it's funny because I know my dad really wanted me to play football. Like, I played football as soon as you could in Wapton. I can't remember what grade it was, but it It was flag football and then tackle. And then I quit after my freshman year because I just wasn't having any fun. And I was so small, I was just getting beat up on the field. And then when you came into town, we started working out. I bulked up again. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to come out for football again. And that was the best decision I ever made.
I remember seeing your dad's face. Your dad was damn near in tears in the audience. Like,
and he was
so prideful.
He still tells me to this day, like, how much fun he had going to games. Because, like, not only our team was obviously really good, but I'm sure it was just, really fun to see your kid playing your favorite sport out on the field.
But the same would have been if you would have just concentrated on hockey. You know what I mean? Like he loved it there or whatever. And there, the crowds were amazing, whatever. But if you were playing hockey, he would have been just as proud.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you look and you can't force it. Like the thing that you have to remember is that you won because your kid had an opportunity to choose. Now, where I come from, we didn't really, like, basketball was the way out. It was basketball or, we were in Alaska, it was hockey. So basketball and hockey were the way out. And, luckily for some of us, football took us out of the state. But right now, everyone has a choice. You could play whatever you want to. And that wasn't the case. Because I knew in order to get out of my hometown that it had to be under scholarship, period.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do anything else unless I was under a scholarship. And that's not the case anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can go basically anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing when you think about it.
It's cool. I kind of regret not trying back then.
Yeah.
After I graduated high school.
And that's what I tell a lot of students right now, in my AD position is it's all fine and dandy until you're 30.
Yeah.
And then you're looking back and your knees are cracking and you're like, dang, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And there's regret is a bitch.
Yeah.
Like it's something that you can't overcome because time doesn't go in reverse. It doesn't wait for anyone and it doesn't go back. When you're too old, you're too old and then you move on. And I think that's the thing, going into what we were talking about before, that's what you're preparing your kids for. Like, it's hell now, but every stage is a different type of hell. It's like Bruce Lee. Like, you go the 7 levels, right? Like, you're in hell right now. You're in time management hell right now. And then you'll be in, I'm broke as hell. And then you'll be in, oh shit, well, I haven't spent that much time with my wife and it's time to do so. So like, you get your license, see you later, you're on your own. I'm going out with your mom and you guys leave the house for 10 hours. It's just different levels. And that's what you got to remember.
How old was Scout when you first put her in the very first camp?
Camp, probably 8.
Okay. And then how old was she when you put her into performance?
Like highly competitive?
Place.
So like a competitive team, I'm very selective about it because I don't really believe in JO, Junior Olympic. I don't really believe in AAU. I don't believe in those things. And there's research and stuff. There's stories I could tell you, whatever. I was a part of that. I don't really believe in that for my kids. So it was older before she started. Like, she did travel stuff with me. So she did travel basketball and travel soccer, and that was when I was her coach and everything. But real competitive, probably 7th grade.
And all that costs money, right?
That part didn't because it was more school.
That is
travel ball did. We do like local tournaments or whatever. Every once in a while, the team might stay at Watertown, something like that, and those were fun times because it was team bonding. And that was going to be the team that she was going to play with in high school.
Yep.
So it was just bonding time or whatever. So very cheap. It didn't start getting expensive until like 8th grade. when it was like, okay, we had to talk. Do you want to be good at this? What's your level? Do you want to be great? Do you want to be mediocre? Do you just want to be a fan? All three of those are okay. Okay. All three of those are okay, right? But she wanted greatness. That's what was expensive.
And what did it take?
So you know all about meal prepping. So it took education about that. It took speed and strength. So we're talking about gym memberships, multiple gym memberships. So we have one, Athletic Republic in Fargo. We have one, Sanford, and that's for basketball, weights, or whatever. That's when I'm like heavy into my job. And then in the summer, we're working out in Breck with weights, but she still will be doing, and this is like both my daughters, Claire and Scout, and they'll be at Athletic Republic. And
what's Athletic Republic?
So it used to be called For Peer Training.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a branch off of that.
Okay. It's more athletic performance and
it's like speed and agility,
speed and strength, speed and agility. And then I put them in yoga. I put them in stretching. There's like I forgot what it's called, but there's a stretching place in Fargo. Stretch lab. We did stretch lab, and that works out very well. And then there's the specifics. So for golf, we have a golf coach. And then you have to pay the golf fees to get on the course. And for basketball, I'm usually their shooting coach, but I'm also a dad. So in one ear, out the other. Dad, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Please pay for this guy to tell me the same thing that you're telling me. Oh, yeah, he's a genius. And you're an idiot. Okay, whatever. I'll take it. So that's another some money there. And then camps for throwing. So track and field camps, things like that.
What was your end goal when you were paying for, coaches camps, for golf, basketball, track? Is there anything else? Was it those three?
Nah, it's those three.
What was your end goal? Did you want her to get like a triple scholarship, or did you just want her to be the best in high school for each of those sports?
I knew she would be under scholarship.
Under one of the three?
Yep. I knew. I'm not saying Division I. I'm saying that some institution was going to say, come play for us and we will help you. I knew that.
So that was the goal, is just to try to get her
since
scholarship.
8th grade.
In something.
Well, kind of, because I knew that was going to happen. That sounds really like narcissistic, but when you see it, you see it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I saw it.
Yeah.
So I knew she was going to get some type of scholarship. The thing was just being that support. What people don't understand is you can pay for all that stuff. But if you're not there as like their sounding board, if you're not there as like their cheerleader, if you're not there as their agent, they're going to fail. They're going to fail. Like, you have to be that for them. So it was more important for me to be that support. And then we went to the NCAA tournament when it was in Minneapolis. And I always tell the story. And the Stanford girls, they all had this shirt on. And we couldn't figure out what was on the shirt because we're in the nosebleeds. Like, daddy is broke, right? I want to take you there, but we ain't in the $1,000 seats. We in the $100 seats, damn near touching the ceiling.
Hell yeah.
Right? And so we zoom in. Yeah, binoculars and all. We're looking at the big board. Everyone's looking at the court. We're looking at the board, you know? And so we find out what's on there. And so what happened was it was a goalie for Stanford. And she like unalived herself. And she did that because of all the pressures that were happening. And so in this one weekend, they found out like she might have been academically ineligible. I think it was a mistake. I can't remember. People were leaving out of her life. I think she gotten in an argument with somebody and she just had nobody to talk to. And that Monday they found her. And so now you have this situation where I have to explain this to my daughters, and I have to say to them, like, hey, if something's going on, you got to let me know. We have to have this relationship. And so, to put it shortly, my girls and I, and my sons will too, but my girls and I have different levels of relationship. I am their agent. That's why I said you're going to hate me sometimes, because as your agent, I'm going to tell you things that you do not want to hear.
Right.
And they may not be nice, but it's what you need to hear. And then the dad part, and that we know what that looks like. Lots of crying and consoling and whatever. And then that person that they bounce ideas off of. And I mean, I'm their social media agent. That's what it takes.
She must have a lot of trust, because for her to share an Instagram, that takes some trust.
It's yeah. Not only that, but I tell stories about how it can go wrong, and stories about how it did go wrong for some top level athletes. And so you have to. The trust has to be paramount, because once again, if you can't have that relationship with your athlete, then they will fail. And it will be monumental when they fail. Like, because they're going to come up against adversity. Scout blew her knee out. She was under scholarship.
I'm glad you brought that up.
She blew her knee out.
Do you want to tell John about how much of a little bitch you were when that happened?
My gosh. She
was
basically
crying like a bitch.
Oh my God. She was basically now okay.
Tell the story.
So she blows her knee out.
At
she
the
tears her
basketball game.
ACL. Last game. She wants to go for a third state title in track. So the last game is the first day of the track season. So she does that. She's on the ground. When she went down, I knew it. She knew it. The trainer knew it. The entire stadium goes quiet. Everyone knew it. Then she gets up, because she's stubborn as hell. She gets up and she walks off on her own. Not only does she walk off on her own, but she walks up the steps to the locker room on her own. So the radio, we're driving to the hospital. The radio is saying Scout Woods could be back at any moment. She got up and walked on her own. Her team is really needing her right now. She's going for 2,000 points. She needs 30.
Damn.
It's the first 6 minutes. She has 8 points in the first 6 minutes. So she's balling, right? She gets a steal. Boom. Steps wrong. She said, as soon as I did it, the force.
She stepped on a foot, right?
No. Nope. The force of her going up for contact is what did it. And so, and we did everything to try to prevent it. Okay, fine. So, yep. Call back. No. Coach calls. No, we're not coming back. It's torn, whatever. That's like the shot heard around North Dakota. I'm getting texts immediately. Like, we heard, hope is everything's okay. Da-da-da-da. Different coaches, like coaches across America were basically texting us. Like, some of the ones that were recruiting her are like, oh my God, da-da-da, we heard. Da-da. We're 30 minutes in. Dang. And everyone has heard, right? So she's crying. She's like, my life is over or whatever. And it's like, no, this happens, and it happens a lot. People bounce back from it. And coach calls and says, hey, she's going to get an award. She's going to get Athlete of the Year. Can she come back? And so tells the doctor. Doctor's like, yep. So we come back. They announced her like, okay, so it was So they announced Hayden Crockett. She'll play at Jamestown. She is the truth. Yep. So Hayden Crockett got it from Northern Cass, and then he's like, Scout Woods, is she in here? And everyone's like, yeah, she's over here, and I'm sitting there, and it's like, and Scout Woods, she was going for her 2,000 point. She got an injury, and she's the co-athlete, and everyone stands up and starts clapping. I lose it. I lost my shit.
Yeah.
Heather takes a picture, puts it on Facebook. This is my husband. He has all the field. You remember that? He has all the fields. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm never going to outlive. But it was the fact that there was a respect there. You know what I mean? And everybody knew, like, game is game. And everybody's like, okay, like, we're going to stand up and give this girl a round of applause or whatever. And it was just, for me, it was too much. So that was definitely.
But even after that, though, you were a little salty.
I was depressed after
You're
that.
a little depressed.
I mean, you work so hard.
Yeah.
You work so hard.
But I was just confused about why you took it so hard, because knowing she's still going to go to NDSU.
Yeah.
She was only going to miss out on track.
Yeah.
So why was that such a big deal?
And she'll probably be back for outdoor, which is crazy. But it was a big deal because the momentum shift was what was crazy. It was, this girl is on top of the world. Literally, we went to 7 colleges that wanted her. We had to cut down.
Yeah.
We were up to 30. We had to cut down. And she was going to win state. She's going to go off in the sunset and just do whatever. And she was going to win all the awards and do all the things or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
And so as a dad, you sit back and you're like, well, you know, what does this really mean? Like, you have to reevaluate yourself. And luckily I had a really good support system. But you
Including me saying, stop being a bitch.
Stop being a bitch, you know. And I had other people kind of come in. They kind of said the same thing. They were like, Woods, like, I mean, you have a daughter who's going to bust her ass to get back. Like, the lessons and everything that you put in her, it's really going to come out if it's sunk in, you know. And I thought, shit, yeah. Well, meanwhile, Scout's looking at me like, stop looking at my fucking knee. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm fine. Like, you're my problem. And I was like, shit, I gotta get it together. So yeah, it was crazy. But she's doing fine now. She's squatting. She's starting to do the Olympic lifts again. She's really hungry for it. So she'll redshirt her indoor year, and then her outdoor year, we'll see. But she could be out there for outdoor. Now, meanwhile, my second daughter, Claire, she's not under her sister's shadow anymore. So now she shows up and she's like, okay, let's take the reins. She almost won state and she almost won regional. So silver linings. I don't think Scout works as hard as what she's working as right now if this didn't happen. And I don't think Claire gets her time in the light if this didn't happen either. And for me, it was a wake-up call, because where I come up, it can all be taken away from you in a second.
Yeah.
But, like, when everything goes right and then it's your kid, that's a different thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll do the same fucking thing.
Same thing. Same thing.
So, how much does it cost to raise a Division I athlete?
I can tell you right now that, you know, as an AD, overall, when we look at what we want from students, excuse me, when we look at what we want from students, we want them to participate in as many things as possible, and we want them to be the best that they can be. So whether that's an all-stater or all-region or whatever, we want it for them. We want it for our school. That takes a lot. That's in today's world, unless you have a guru at home, that's going to cost upwards of $10,000. Now, I've spoken to multiple Division I parents, both in the 2024 and 2025 class. I've talked to multiple parents, and they have agreed that, I said, well, I spent $10,000 this year on preparation. They go, yeah, that's easy. That's without doing things like JO or AAU or, you know, some kind of thing that's going to put your child in the spotlight in front of coaches. That all costs money as well. So I would say 10,000 plus.
Jeez. And that's only for sports, John. I think you've got it pulled up here. Well, it just seems like raising a kid gets more and more expensive, obviously, but they say that it costs upwards to $400,000 to raise a kid from, is that birth to 18, right, John?
Yeah, so it was a recent study that was done by LendingTree where they said the average cost of raising a child to the age of 18 in the U.S. is $237,000. However, that number is closer to $400,000 when factoring in housing and childcare. So what we've done here, we just kind of got a little like breakdown analysis of how that looks. So this is for a middle income family, one child, birth to age 18 as of 2025. So housing alone, you're looking at $86,000 to $100,000. Biggest category of all this includes higher rent mortgage due to needing more space, utilities, insurance, property tax. Regional variation is huge. Housing cost in rural Iowa versus New York City is a night and day difference, for example. Smart asset 2025 examples like Boston, Massachusetts is $1,650 a month per child. Dallas, Texas, $1,100 a month per extra child, and so on. Childcare and education, you're looking at about $60,000 to $90,000. That's 20 to 30% of it. Skyrocketing daycare is a major reason for recent cost jumps. Childcare alone is about $17,836 a year average nationally. That's up 36% since 2022. Yeah. And we still have shortages for childcare availability.
That's definitely pretty accurate. But where do they get the education part for cost?
It depends because sometimes, like if you live in New York City, let's just say that.
I see that.
So private school tuition, tutoring, books, tech, laptops, tablets, school supplies, after-school programs, etc. Okay. These are all just estimates. Then you have food costs. That's $39,000 to $42,000. That makes up about 13 to 15%. The USDA estimates $200 to $300 a month per child, depending on age and food preferences. Yeah. Teens eat more, which means more cost. Yep. Carnivore, organic, or allergy-conscious diets can increase this number. Yep. Transportation is about $25,000 to $35,000. That's 10 to 12% of total cost. Bigger car, more fuel, increased insurance, car seats, strollers, bikes, ride sharing, public transit. Multiple kids makes this even higher.
Yeah, Woods, you're screwed.
100.
Healthcare, $20,000 to $30,000. That makes up about 7 to 10%. Premiums plus co-pays plus prescriptions, dental, vision, etc. The ACA mandates dependent coverage, but out-of-pocket costs have risen. And then 6, you have your miscellaneous or personal care. That's about $15,000 to $25,000. That's 5 to 8%. That's like clothes, diapers, wipes, toys, haircuts, grooming, birthday parties, holiday gifts, extracurricular activities, sports. Clubs, music, etc. Summer camps.
That's pretty close, Woods.
Babysitting.
I'm telling you.
So then we see a chart here of how it's changed over time. So you have the year versus the estimated cost from birth to 18. So in 2015, it was about $233,610. We're now at 2025. It's adjusted to be more like $310,000 to $360,000 with inflation in high cost states. Regional cost range 18 years. So again, different states total estimates like Hawaii, for example, $362. California is $338. Yeah. Texas is $285. Mississippi is $190. So you can move. Raise them for a little cheaper. But some summary takeaways here. So the real number is closer to $300K, not $400, unless you live in a really high-cost coastal metro. Costs are driven mostly by housing and childcare, with those two making up over 50% of the total. Adjustments for inflation and lifestyle, organic food, private schools, brand name clothes, tech, etc., can easily push this into the $350,000 range. Yeah. This still doesn't include college costs, which are a whole different monster, $25,000 to $85K plus per year, depending on the school that they go to.
That's the big thing right there.
And most people don't have, like in your case, your kids are stellar athletes. They're multi-sport athletes. Yep. I mean, that costs 3 times as much now as what they have as an average here. So,
Well, you got to think like
expensive.
To play a sport, you're going to need the clothes, the athletic wear, whatever it is.
Who goes through more shoes than athletes too? You know what I mean?
Like, God forbid, if Roman plays hockey, I am fucked because hockey is the most expensive sport.
It is. No, it's the one sport we never touch. With like Parker playing, he's played every sport you can think of. Most of my kids when they were younger did soccer and all that other stuff too. Now, thankfully for me, I have 2 kids who have no interest in sports whatsoever, but they're like One's going to be an engineer. He's going to Concordia. The other one doesn't really know what he wants to do yet, but he's smart enough to do whatever he wants. But they also do Muay Thai, boxing, all that stuff if they don't play sports. My daughter, she does gymnastics. She's done dance. She plays basketball now. She's into track as well. She's still too young to really be in track, but she's getting into all these things. So and she's picking it up from Parker. So I mean, we spend a good amount of money just on all that extracurricular stuff as well. And I have 5 kids, so it's up there. Thankfully, my oldest is already an adult and out the house. So she did track, I think, in high school for a little bit and never really picked up any interest for sports from there. So
yeah, it's I mean, it's something. When you're in it though, you don't realize. Yeah. When you're in it, you don't realize.
Oh yeah, it's hard to see the costs.
You don't want to.
Yeah.
You'll start crying. I mean, Trey's 11 years old. This Joker is as tall as I am, and I'm like 5'10", almost 5'11". Yeah. He's 11, and I just put on social media before season March. Dad, the shoes don't fit before soccer season.
Yep.
Those things were 10s.
Yeah,
they were 10s, and now. Just the other day, soccer season, we got 2-3 more weeks of like competitive soccer season. Dad, these are hurting my toe. What are you talking about? No, they're not. Stand up. I feel his toe.
They're all in.
Oh, they're like itching to get out. He's dang near curling his toe to kick the soccer ball. Yeah. So here Dad goes. I'm searching for cheap soccer shoes now. At first, it was like, these are going to be the first ones. These are going to be the only ones for the year. So I'll pay $60 for them. All right, let's go to Shields. I'm gonna get my boy looking good. No, I think these ones are like hot peach, and they were like $25. And I said, these are your shoes, because by the time next soccer season comes, he's not gonna wear those.
Yeah.
Claire, my feet, comes home from camp, shoes exploded. Shoes exploded. And I'm like, did you play in those? She goes, yeah, but luckily I got another pair. See, I always keep another pair, and I always tell her to keep another pair too. Yeah, luckily I have another pair. Okay, so we're going to trash these. These are your main pair. These are your other pair. Okay, whatever. And then girls, Dad, I need a sports bra. What you need one for? What? Why? Oh, okay, that's why. Never mind. Okay, let's go get you a sports bra. That's fine. Let's go get you special girl stuff. Let's go get you girl stuff. And that's just an added cost. You know, it's just one thing after another. Yeah, so if you don't have a kid that plays sports, what people don't realize is, and this is a lesson for you. You ready for this? There's 2 lessons.
Let's hear it.
Number 1, diapers, that box doesn't get bigger. So 24 pack of diapers, the box doesn't get bigger. When they're size 5, it's now like 5 diapers. Same price.
Yep.
Box doesn't get bigger.
Sure.
So you're paying for what? The cotton that's in there?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's one. And then number 2, you're gonna say, oh my God, we're not spending money on diapers, thank God. Oh my God, we're not spending money on daycare, thank God. You will not see savings. That is going to something else.
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna ever see that money. It's never materializing ever for your life. Because even when you're like, oh, thank God. Because
it goes from one thing to another.
Oh, yes. It goes from that. It goes from diapers and daycare. It goes from diapers and it goes to daycare. Then it goes to, like, we were at St. John's and it went to St. John's. It was like, okay, thank God, St. John's. Nope, they're playing sports, so it went to sports. Oh, my gosh, they need this. Okay, so it went to a down payment on another car. Then it went to, oh, we got to know when they're out of practice. It went to a cell phone. Yep. And it just goes to one thing after another. You will never see that money ever. It's gone. Get a raise. That's all you can do.
Yeah. My youngest boy he's 14 right now. He's just over this last summer. He just blew up, right? So you're a shoe guy, I know. Yep. I'm a shoe guy. I got a lot of shoes. And for a while, 2 of my sons were both wearing the same size shoe as me. Now my younger one, Oscar, who's 14, has now shot up. He's taller than me. He's 6'4.5" probably at this point. 14 years old. Now wears a size 15 extra wide shoe. So not only can I not just kick him down shoes when he needs a new pair, which I had done for years, I gotta find like special shoes for him, because you
Yep.
can't just walk into the shoe store and find 15 extra wide that's comfortable for him. You know what I mean? Like he'll put on shoes like up temples are pretty wide shoe. I'll put those on his feet and he's just like, nah. Like he needs weird like dad shoes and stuff. He's just got such a damn big foot. But of all the height and size this kid has, bro, he's the one that doesn't want to play sports.
Yeah.
He's doing Muay Thai and he's really into that. He's doing really good. And I think he just ranked to like blue, rank 1 or something like that. But now he wants to fight. He wants to get in the ring and throw down. And so his coach is preparing him for that, to try to give him a couple fights here coming up in the next year or so. And that's going to get expensive because for Muay Thai, you got to travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To do fighting.
For sure.
And so it's crazy when you think like with these kids, like even my son who's more of an engineer, he didn't have any desire for sports. So you think, oh, cool, there's money we don't got to spend on sports for him. But he needs gadgets.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He needs computers, laptops. He needs, I don't know, Raspberry Pis and all these crazy things that he's doing that he's teching out on. He wants to take, coding classes and do all this other. I mean, bro, it's everything they choose to do is expensive. And if you have kids who choose to do nothing, they're going to stay expensive because they're going to be adults who need your support because they have no endeavors and nothing to chase and nothing to put themselves up on their own. They're just hanging.
Might be bail money.
Might
be bail money.
So that money never, like you said, it never just becomes extra money. It just goes to something different that they decided to do from when the stuff they didn't. Yeah, it gets crazy, man.
So you might as well. So what Heather tells me, because you're like, oh no, I'm not doing any more kids, whatever. What Heather tells me is in the end, to John's point, it's the more likelihood that you get grandkids, and that's the part that's going to pay dividends for you. So
I hope so, because like I said, I mean, we're older. I'm 36. She's going to be 38. And so by the time that we have grandkids, we're going to be in diapers.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm hoping that I can raise Roman to be a Catholic boy, meet his wife at an early age, start having kids when they're in their low 20s.
It's a kiss of death, brother.
I hope so.
You're going to have to just like
Kate's sister's oldest boy, they got married, they had kids, and he's got to be 20, 21. They're already having on their second one.
Really?
Yep. Cattle ranchers, comes from a really good family, but yeah, I'm probably screwed. I don't think Roman's ever going to be. I don't think Roman's going to be like that.
I mean, you never know. That's the thing about
He's
life,
a smart
though.
kid, though. Like I'll say this, he impresses me every single day by his just what he knows.
Yeah,
I'm impressed. So we'll see. I really do hope that he has kids early. I do. I'll be supportive of that for sure.
Yeah, it's just I'm pretty sure John can speak to this. Like, it's just meeting that right woman, though. Like,
Yeah,
John
knows.
before anything,
John knows what that's like.
I mean, it's like, it's crazy because even me, I'm not sure where I would be without having, like, I don't know where I would be without having that support system at home. So if you find that right person, yeah, all those gears click. That's huge. But trying to find that right person that has that same mentality as you, have the same goals as you, that's real. We just talked about that too. Having that person that is going to humble you when you need to be humbled and support you when maybe you have a stupid idea, but you're gung-ho for it or whatever. And they kind of they're going to have your back, even though they know it's going to go down in flames. So they're preparing for it to go down in flames.
Yeah.
Having those type of people around you is I just think it's more important than having those kids, because when you have those kids and you start differing on your goals and things like that, it could get messy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can see that. So let's talk a little bit about your current position now. We can finish up with this. So you started out at Wapton as a teacher. You left for a little while, came back as a dean, right? Or you came back as a teacher.
Yeah.
Wait, is this high school?
High school.
Wapton High School? Okay.
Wapton High School.
You came back as a teacher, then you transitioned to just the dean, right?
Correct.
and then transitioned from the dean to, well, actually, the dean and athletic director.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So what kind of so you started in August of last year.
Correct.
When you first got hired, were you shocked about the job itself and everything that came with it?
I was shocked. I mean, I was shocked, good, positively and negatively.
Yeah.
You know, I was shocked at the amount of support I got. I was also shocked at the amount of hate I got. You know, it's one of those things where you learn a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about growing up and maturing real quick. I had grown up knowing that, you know, at some point I was going to be a leader, but it never really bothered me, you know, that it was like, okay, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and some people aren't going to like me. It just is what it is, right? It's another thing when it's people that, like, you're really close with, you know, it's that kind of just has that negative turn, and, you know, it doesn't end up well, and you're just like, wow, I just thought we were closer than that. I just thought we were better than that. I just thought we were boys, you know. And that comes with leadership, is what I'm learning.
Yeah.
But the other side is there were a lot of people that were like, hey, if you need anything, you call me. You know how people say that, but when you call, it's like, yeah, no, these people were there. They showed up.
Good.
Like I needed somebody to take tickets. They were like, I got you. I needed somebody to announce. They were like, I got you, you know, and there was so much support. And so in this position, you have to really humble yourself, because as humans, we always look at the bad and we always harp on the bad. But we don't look at all the good that's happening around. And so I really spent the summer looking at all the positives that happened. It was a lot. Like, I don't know if I could have got through this year with some of the people, without the help of some of those community members.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see the athletic as a whole? How much it's improved since you've been in? Because I told this. I think I told these guys that. I told when Dustin was on. When I first got back to Wapton, I came down there to go visit the football team. I think I told you this, but I was shocked at the size of the team.
Yeah,
I was shocked. I was like, this has got to be the freshman class.
Yeah,
and that's no diss to them. Like, they weren't as big as years prior.
Yeah.
But the number wise too, there wasn't. Just seemed like their numbers have gone down as well. But you know, but I think going the full circle though is what I'm getting at is when I graduated, we were AAA.
Yeah.
And we were huge.
Yeah.
But that's because we were constantly in the gym. We did the summer program.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But my graduating class was 115.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
And so, but that was, you know, almost 20 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, we had so much pride in our school.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much freaking pride. We went out to all the games, constantly wearing Husky stuff.
Yeah.
We had Husky paw prints. Every car had Husky paw prints on their car, right? When I first got back, I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that on anybody's cars. There wasn't really any pride. And I could be way wrong, but it just seemed like that school kind of had lost its mojo. It seemed like the town was just kind of dwindling and blowing away in the dust. And so that's why I got pissed when you came in and you were like, we need to revamp the school, the Husky logo. And people were like, no, it's got to stay the same. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's been that for 40 years. Like, we can redo some stuff here. We got to update. You have to evolve. Otherwise, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And that goes with, and this goes for, like I said, full circle with the rec center being built. There's constantly businesses closing down because they don't have enough business. And I looked up the population stats from 2007 to 2024, Wapton has gained 300 people. That's it. If you have that slow of growth, you're gonna die as a community and a town. That is slow growth, right? So again, when people are bitching about this rec center being built, if you don't grow, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. People are not gonna want to move to the community. When you don't have people moving to the community, you don't have kids going to the school, you don't have kids playing sports, your sports program is gonna suck. Wade is an excellent coach, probably one of the best. Like, I love that guy.
He's phenomenal.
I love Wade.
Phenomenal
I love Wade to death.
coach.
But you get what you get, right? And you're going to have only a Trayton Malk every so often.
Yep.
You're going to have a Trayton Malk. You're going to have a Ryan Smith every so often. You can't depend on those absolute freaking studs that are going to be there. So you have to develop your program, your school, your town, and to get people to want to move in because, like parents take their children's athletics really seriously.
Correct.
So they will move to a certain town
Correct.
to make sure that they get a good freaking program to get looked at.
Correct.
So if they have a shitty program, you're not going to get people that move there. So I guess talk about your vision about what you want to change and how you've changed so far.
Well, one of the things that always has to be remembered is that there's two things. Number one is that things go in waves, right? So, sometimes you're going to have those big teams, you're going to have those big kids or whatever, and sometimes you're just not. In terms of like pride and everything else like that, those are some of the things that I want to help foster in Wapton. They're there. They are there. I think we're just at a point now where Wapton is actually hungry for something. And we did see that with the vote. The vote turned positive, and now we're getting a rec center. People do care about athletics. People do care about activities in Wapton. It's just bringing it out and trying to facilitate it. And that's basically what my job is a facilitator for success. So if someone wants to do something, my job is to make sure that they have the path to do it. They want to go play post-secondary athletics. My job is to make sure that there's a path for them to do it. If they want to be the passive participant, my job is to make sure that there's an avenue for them to do it. And that's where I'm at. When kids come to school, I'm going to tell you flat out, when kids come to school, I want kids to have the experiences that I had in high school. I loved high school. I loved every bit of it. The admin, the teachers, they did everything in their power to make sure that my school, which was an underprivileged school, that we went home and we were tired and we were fed mentally and our bellies were full and we wanted to come back the next day. The same happened in my junior high. The same happened in my elementary. So then when I went to college, that's what I was looking for in a college. And that's what I want for Wapton. I can't make kids play.
Right.
I can't make them want to do, so every person, my coaches also have to play a part in it. Teachers also have to play a part in it, And so just making sure that when you're a Husky, that you're going to come to school and there's going to be an opportunity for you to be a better person than when you came. And that's it. Yeah. All the initiatives and everything that I try to bring through, those are all kid-centered. Those are all participant-centered. Whether you want to be on a speech team or you want to sing or you want to play basketball or football, those opportunities are going to be there. Because right now what we have is a lot of, you're right, in order to grow, it's going to take the collaborative effort of the city, of the school district, of science school, of parents. All the stakeholders are going to have to get together and say, look, this is what we want for our children. And until that happens, then we can't grow.
Right.
Because one entity can't do it on its own. Okay, so David Woods can't change what the football team looks like.
Right.
David Woods can't change what the basketball team looks like. I can hold my daughters accountable so that they can perform, but we all see we had Tyler Irwin. We didn't win a state title. We had Ryan Smith. We didn't win a state title. We had Scout Woods. We didn't win a state title.
Right.
So it takes more than a singular person
Right.
to get things done. And so one of the things I'm working on, because I'm a city councilman too, so one of the things that is very dear to me is making sure that all the entities work together to get what's best for the students and the children of Wahpeton. And I think the rec center is a good start.
Yeah. I definitely think that's going to help for sure. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Can I mention the Ring of Honor?
Oh, yeah.
So one thing that Woods had brought into the school is when you walk into the lunchroom, there's banners of all of the each person that held a record and the year that they held that record or achievement, I guess.
Yeah, so they either won state or got all state honors, and
it's dating back to, I don't know, the 40s.
40s.
So it's all around the cafeteria. These banners are hung up.
Nice.
It's cool as hell. Like you get to see who graduated and who held what title dating back to the 40s. So that's like one of the little things that he's doing there.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those things where here's the thing, and here's what I'll say about that. Change is hard in the Midwest. Change is hard.
Yep.
Like people
Stuck in their
people
ways.
are stuck in their ways.
Yep.
And so Robert Wanick, love him to death. He calls them cave people, complain about virtually everything.
Yep.
Like he says that, and I just chuckle. But but I'm not going to go that far. That's what Robert calls them. But there's people who, they are stuck in their ways or whatever, and change is hard. And so one of the things that I have to remember to do is make sure that I am bringing people along that, so they fully understand what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to get at. Having those things up there, I've gotten a lot of compliments, about that. It was a lot because here's this guy, he comes in, and he does this Ring of Honor, and he changes the logo, and he does all this, that, like, who is this cat? Yeah. Who hired this guy? Like, get your man, get him out of here. No, they don't say that, but it's hard for people to change, especially when they don't know exactly what is going on. And I'm not going to be perfect with it, but I have a vision. And like I said, that vision is just to make sure that we can all be under one logo, that our kids are striving for top honors in everything that they do, and that, I, again, am giving them the avenue to be the best person that they could be at Wahpeton.
Right. And I think that, at the end of the day, you just want these kids to be successful and have a good time playing the sport that they want to play. And then the main goal, the end goal would be to get picked up somewhere. Or I guess, a bonus goal, I guess, would be to get picked up somewhere and to succeed in college.
But when you look at your time at Wahpeton, every time you tell a story, you smile about it. You know what I mean? Like, I snooped on your Facebook, and you have people still giving you pictures of when you were in high school, like when you were scrawny Cody, and then you look back and you start talking about your football days, and you smile when you talk about your football days. Those are the things that I'm going for.
Yep.
So if they make it to post-secondary or whatever, that's icing on the cake. But when a person goes to Wahpeton and now they're 40 and they can't do everything that they could, and they look back on their high school experience, I want them to have a positive outlook on that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're heading in the right direction. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got, a lot of athletes already getting picked up for scholarships and stuff. So
yeah, it's exciting talking about recruiting. We've had a couple of colleges down looking at some football players.
You help facilitate those interviews too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like that's just part of the job. Yeah. I think not just me, but my coaches do a very good job of setting things up for students, and it's just making sure that, once again, they get to do it, and I get to facilitate and make sure that everything looks nice or whatever. And the coach is like, hey, NDSU's coming down. What do you want to do? Well, let's do it up. Let's reserve the gym. Let's start decorating. Let's reserve the district office room so they can talk. And so I am just the facilitator, letting the coaches do what they need to do in order to be successful, in order for their athletes or the mentors and their participants to be successful.
Yeah. Good shit, man. John?
Yeah, it is good shit.
Appreciate it.
No, hell yeah, man. That's props to you, bro. You're making changes and doing things outside of the norm for people like us, for instance, and I'm sure it helps that you come into this community, not just as part of the community, but the changes that you're implementing that maybe people aren't necessarily so excited about. It helps that you're so heavily involved and a recipient of the changes. Your kids are part of the sports programs and, stellar athletes and whatnot. So you're not just this outsider making changes who's a non-participant in all the things that you want to change. You're doing it for the betterment of the things you participate in. So I'm sure that's a huge advocacy for you.
Yeah, it does help. It helps for the most part. At first it was kind of like, well, is he doing it for his kids or whatever?
Right.
I think people are starting to see that, it's not pie. And that's something that I say all the time. It's not pie. We don't have to divvy out pieces.
Right.
And then someone else comes and now we have to cut a bit off of everyone else's piece in order to make one for this new person. It's not pie. Like, there's enough love to go around for everyone to win. So why don't we just all win? And that's how I carry myself.
That's dope, man. Well, props to you, brother. Congratulations on all your endeavors and
appreciate it.
The things you're doing in that little community. Hopefully you can help it blow up even more than it is.
Yeah. Do what you can to get back into 3A, okay?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are down.
You don't want that smoke, do you?
We're down where we want to be. You guys were getting. I mean, you guys did well.
You guys.
Okay, I was a coach.
2 games.
I was a coach. We did very well, but we don't. The times change. Times change.
Well, yeah.
Basketball moved down. Volleyball moves down this year.
You just can't compete with Fargo schools. They're too big.
Well, and it's not just Fargo schools. I mean, Valley City was a very nice big town or whatever. I love Valley City. And some of their sports are going to move down to the B. I mean, the population just isn't there. So we're going through something in North Dakota right now.
Honestly, though, but we'll see what happens because with the amount of growth that Fargo is getting, I see more and more people.
Yep.
They move further and further and further south. That's what I was telling John. I said, like, there's no space between Fargo and Horace now.
Correct.
It's all just one. Correct. That's how far it got.
And people, like you said, are getting sick
West
of it.
Fargo.
Yeah, people are getting sick of it. So now they want a slower life. They want to be able to raise bigger families like once upon a time. Like we had, families of 5, families of 6. So they're starting to move down. And I feel that our job in Wahpeton is to make sure that we're ready
when it gets
there.
Yep.
So once it gets there, and it's only a matter of time before it gets there, we need to be ready as a district and as a town to accept those people.
Do you think that Wahpeton would have looked like Fargo had the interstate been built? Had the Wahpeton been built, or the interstate been built through Wahpeton?
I mean, that's hard to say.
Yeah,
it depends on
that's what they say.
It depends on who you ask. Like you ask some of the people, and they're like, "Well, if we would have," and it's one of those things where we don't have to even discuss it because it's never going to happen.
Right.
I was just
curious.
But could we do something to be more enticing? I don't know. Would that hurt us if everyone's moving down and we're next to the interstate? Could that have possibly hurt us with people moving down? Like, I don't want to be next. I don't want to be a Fargo. Like the interstate goes through it or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They might want to be offset 10 miles. That might be a plus for them. I know it's a plus for a lot of industry that has moved in.
Yeah. Yeah. Good shit, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Dropping the knowledge and everything. I think we kept it pretty light.
I think so.
Wasn't very controversial.
No.
So I know that Heather was worried about that. So Heather, if you listen to this one, we kept it nice and safe just for you.
Yeah, she was holding her breath.
I was just actually thinking, I was like, man, what kind of crazy shit can I drop right now? Save that for the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. Well, appreciate you coming out, man. Thanks for making the drive. Everybody else, appreciate you guys for checking us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the channel. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. It doesn't really matter as long as you were talking about us. Peace.